Alright. So in a previous video, info card right there, I got together with a friend and we just had like a genuine talk about racism because it's an important topic that should be talked about. And this video is going to be a continuation of that video. Because after a lot of thinking, I decided that racism is not really a topic that should just be like a one and done deal. So I got together with another friend and we just had a genuine talk about racism. Or we were supposed to. What actually ended up happening is that we went into like a million different tangents and we talked for honestly over an hour. I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm here with my friend Debbie, and yeah. Also, before we start, quick disclaimer: we are both wearing masks, and we're both social distancing.
Far away.
And honestly, we're I don't know like I know it's just me, you, and Julie in the office, but I mean
There's maybe a total of 10 people in this over 100,000 square foot building.
that is great. Great. I please do encourage you to be safe because I mean, especially when we get to the fall, things are gonna get a lot worse.
Our numbers are already climbing in BC. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Where to start? I guess. Well, we were actually talking a little bit off camera, so I mean, I guess should we just start there?
Let's start there. So we were talking about masks.
Yeah, we were talking about masks, and just both of us found it kind of ridiculous about how like people are pretty much whining about the mask because yes, they are uncomfortable, but it's for your own safety, and just like a lot of excuses that people have made, like for example, it's God's will, and like this is how God made me, so this is how I'm going to live by God, and just like.
And I just want to respond. My response to that was, in that case, you should not drive a car. You should not wear clothes, shoes, anything that man made, because according to you, you only deal with what God gave you. So you should be walking around naked and living in nature.
Mm-hmm. And my response to that is that if God made you this way, then apparently God has forgotten to teach you how to be a good person.
Which brings us to the 10 Commandments. So my dad's Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but my mom's Buddhist. So 10 Commandments. We are taught, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I don't understand why during all of this, it doesn't matter what you do with your body. You're entitled to that because we're taught, don't kill, don't steal, don't covet thy neighbor, don't be jealous of people, and of course, love thy neighbor. And I don't understand why we live in a world where there's so much hate just because somebody's wearing a mask. That's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's your choice to believe in God and to do all those things. It's to wear the clothes that you wear. It's my choice to put a mask on. So, and then I was going to tell you the story about what happened to my mom.
Yes, and I would love to hear it. But actually, before you start the story, I was thinking about this for a while, and I actually haven't had the chance to talk to anyone. But I don't know. This is sort of my thought process because like I've been trying to think of a good reason why people are whining so much about the mask, and literally I have came with absolutely nothing except one reason, and I don't really want to justify this, but the only real reason I can think of is people whining about these is that they can't really accept that this is our new reality.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's a
yeah.
really good point. So the couple of things is, if you think it's bad living in Vancouver wearing a mask, where it's like, okay, we have a breeze, it's all of 27 today. Think about the people in India. Think about the people in China, Thailand, any of those places that are hot, humid, muggy, and they're wearing masks. If you think it's hard to breathe, imagine what they're doing. Um, a lot of people are working, nurses and doctors are working with masks. So saying it's uncomfortable, yeah, but that is part of life. Like we put band-aids on because it's uncomfortable. We get surgery. Do you think we want to get surgery? No. This is all healthcare. This is all part of what makes us civilized. And I use air quotes because that's a whole other discussion. Um, but you had mentioned something else and I totally lost where I was going with this. You had said something about, what was the last thing you said? Sorry.
They can't accept reality.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Thank you. I knew that. There's a lot of people who keep talking about they refuse to accept that this is the new normal. Because as you know, we all keep saying, oh, this is the new normal and this is how life is now and we all have to get used to it and adjust. There are a lot of people who refuse to accept that this is the new normal. And it's baffling to me that a pandemic doesn't happen very often. Like, obviously I'm older than you. It hasn't happened in the many years that I've been alive and hasn't happened in my parents' lifetime, and they're, older. And so for someone to say that they're not happy or they won't accept it is mind-blowing to me. September 11th. We never expected that. And the fallout for that, for you youngins, was having to take your shoes and socks off and having to go through screening and all that stuff, and having your bags checked and not being able to bring back so many bags in and all that. That was all a consequence. that happened as a result of 9/11. And even prior to that, in the 80s, just to really show you how weird I am, I researched about things like tamper seals. So tamper seals did not exist like on your medication bottles. You know when you open your Tylenol, you pop it open. First of all, there's a plastic seal around it, and it says safety seal. And then you open it, and then there's another seal on the top of your bottle.
Yeah.
That's because in the 80s, somebody went around and started poisoning. They never used to have a tamper seal. So I could go to a store and open a bottle of milk and close it, and you never would have known. That was only in the 80s. Yeah. So people had to get used to tamper seals. So my point is, things happen, then we have to fix it. And how do we fix it? With the solution. And in this case, it's a mask. You know, and in the airport case, it was going through screening. In the case of the person who was literally poisoning people and killing people, it was putting the tamper seal on medication bottles. So
my God.
yeah, so it's understanding, and that's only like two things that I draw as an example. There's so many other things in the world that are happening, and so many other things that we take lightly. But because this is affecting everybody, and it's affecting everybody so quickly, I think it's kind of like, you know when your mom says don't do it, and you're like, no, I'm going to do it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody knows, when your parents tell you no, they tell you no because they care, but it's like this little voice in your head that goes, well, if they say no, I must do it because it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that. It's like, hey, everybody, you should be wearing masks. It's common sense. It's not that hard. And at this point, I won't be lying to you. Girls probably love it because they don't have to do their makeup. It's better for your skin.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and the great thing is, okay, now this is really meant to make you guys laugh, but it's so true. Do you know some people have really bad breath? And this is the saving grace. I kind of tell my friends to make light of it. Like it's actually a good thing. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And just think, as you know me, James.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but make facial expressions. Whether I'm happy or not, you can read me like an open book. But with the mask, you can't tell. So there's many times where I'm behind the mask going, oh my God. But I don't say it, I mouth it, and no one can see it. So it's kind of like, have fun with it, you know? Thing it comes down to, think of this as actually caring about other people. Mm-hmm. And you know me, I love people. I love every single kid that comes in this building, but this to me is the sign that I do love you. Yeah. And I do care about you. And I think that's how people need to kind of reframe it is, like you were saying earlier, people only care about themselves now. It's like we live in this world where you only think about you, me, 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 me. And we totally have. Because, like, my generation is, I'm going to shut this up. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's so rude.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a message from you. I'm at the front door. But people have gotten to the point where we have been so involved with self-care and self-love and self. It's important. Mental health, self-love is important. But so is a community. And so is caring for other people. Because if you only think of yourself and you only care for yourself, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, no matter how wonderful you may think you are, you're selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a bigger world, and when by helping other people, you actually help yourself become a better person, and you learn from other people. Like, I've learned from you, James. I'll tell you, I had a moment with James, and I was a total jerk. And James was so calm and patient. And I went home and I reflected on it, and it taught me, like, why was I a jerk? James is a lovely kid. He is so hardworking. He does everything he possibly can to be the best at what he does, and he's so kind and thoughtful. And in that moment, I didn't even think of that. And that's kind of what we all need to do. We all need to take a step back and reflect and go, wait, what have I done that makes me feel good? And for me, it's being good to you guys and having you guys be good to me. And then that moment, I felt bad, right? And I think that's what's happened is we've lost a sense of, back to the Bible, for those of you who are Christian, love thy neighbor. And back to any sense of reality, like, we are all part of a big community, be it animals, be it humans, whatever the case may be. You can think you're special. Somebody made you feel special, right? So make someone else feel special. Like I say to the kids that I coach, right? It's important to connect with other people because your one connection could be that one connection for a kid. Mm-hmm. And with COVID, me wearing a mask hopefully sets an example for somebody else. They may be like, hey, I know her, she's a good friend of mine, I never thought I'd wear a mask, but it's important to her, so maybe I will wear one.
Definitely.
Like that's the goal, is that everybody will understand you don't do this for you. It's not about you. Love you, but you're not that important. We're important together. We together have all the power.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And you can't sit there and say masks don't work when you look at New Zealand. Like, their numbers are fantastic. You look at Asia, they were able to manage their numbers. Like, Wuhan had a party. I don't know about that. That's a little crazy. But like, masks work. And at the end of the day, if you don't want to wear a mask, my response is don't go out.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, if you don't mind me jumping in, you said about like a point of like we sort of started focusing on like mental health and self care, and this is actually something I've been thinking about for a while. It's like there's, I think people are starting to confuse what mental health really is, because there's a difference between caring for yourself and just being selfish.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do, it's like, because obviously both me and you do agree that mental health is extremely important.
So important.
And it's important to take care of yourself, but it's also, but there's a difference between like just taking care of your mental health and just being flat out selfish.
100%. That is, I couldn't have said it better. Because that's the problem, is a lot of us say it's self-care, but it's not. It's being selfish, right? Like, it doesn't take much to help people out. It doesn't take much to contribute to community. It's a mask. It's literally putting it on your face. And please, okay, for those of you who don't know how to wear a mask, can I please do this as a PSA?
By all means.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I'm a first aid attendant. We know how to wear masks, and we're not medical. We're not medically trained. But so basically, when you're wearing a mask, don't touch. Don't touch. No touchy pa. Don't touch. Simple as that. If you don't like the way it fits, then adjust it in the washroom, and then wash your hands. The minute you touch your mask, you need to wash your hands. So when you go to take it off, I'm crazy. I sanitize before I even touch it, because I figure my hands are near my face. But sanitize, remove the mask using your ears and only the ears, dispose of it in the bag, sanitize again after you get rid of it. As long as you're touching your masks, you got germs on your hands. So as much as possible, don't touch. And please, 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 any place you go, bring some sanitizer with you. Feel free to wipe it down. I sanitize this entire room and the office every day, twice a day.
Like, literally, as soon as I got here, she made me I take some hand sanitizer. Like, I'm
and
not even joking.
as soon as I saw him, I grabbed and I put my mask on, and then I sanitized.
Yeah.
So it's just public service announcement, because I think a lot of people need to learn how to wear masks and remove them properly. Yeah,
and this could be its own separate video if I want it to be. We've been
could,
talking for like 15 minutes.
You could just cut it in half and make a second video.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do. We actually ended up talking for over an hour. And so we're cut it up into 3 parts. This was part 1, and part 2 is coming soon. If you want to get updates on part 2, go follow my Instagram story. I post updates on videos all the time. You can get sneak previews and find out when the video is going to come out. And this video right here is the video that YouTube recommends for you because they know you. This video right here is the last video I just posted. And this right here is the subscribe button. Alright, remember guys, do what you love what you do.